Just before Christmas, a sobering report from the Pentagon landed in Washington, D.C. titled Military and Security Developments Involving the People's Republic of China 2025. It warns that China's military growth is making the U.S. increasingly vulnerable, even at home. For years, China's power was seen as a regional issue. Now the Pentagon says Beijing can project force across the Pacific, shifting the balance in Asia and beyond. Under President Xi Jinping, China's defense budget has nearly doubled, modernizing the People's Liberation Army with the goal of building a world-class military by mid-century. The report is a wake-up call. China's ambitions are global, and the U.S. must prepare for a new era of competition. While U.S. leaders talk of cooperation, the Pentagon's assessment is blunt. Deterrence and vigilance are now top priorities. The timing of the report, just before the new year, ensures its findings will dominate security discussions. The message is clear: the U.S. and its allies face a rapidly changing threat landscape. The stakes for global security have never been higher. The Pentagon's report zeroes in on 2027, a deadline set by Xi Jinping for the PLA to be ready to invade Taiwan. This Davidson window has defense planners on edge, as China accelerates military modernization with Taiwan as the focal point. The PLA is preparing for multiple scenarios: a full-scale amphibious invasion, a crippling blockade, or devastating missile strikes to force Taiwan's surrender. The 2027 date marks the PLA's 100th anniversary, making it a symbolic and strategic milestone for Beijing. For Taiwan's 24 million people, the threat is real and constant. The Pentagon confirms unification by force is a serious objective, not just rhetoric. The next few years are critical for peace and stability in the region. China isn't just planning for conflict, it's rehearsing for it. In 2024, the PLA staged massive, highly publicized drills simulating attacks on Taiwan and even U.S. forces in the Pacific. These exercises tested amphibious assaults, missile strikes, and blockades, revealing China's growing military sophistication. Practicing blockades signals Beijing may try to force Taiwan's surrender without a direct invasion. The drills serve a dual purpose: sharpening the PLA's readiness and intimidating Taiwan's population. They also send a warning to the U.S. and its allies: China is prepared to act. Each exercise increases the risk of miscalculation or accidental escalation. The region is on edge as the line between practice and real conflict blurs. The Pentagon highlights China's rapidly expanding arsenal, including a new intercontinental anti-ship missile that can reach the U.S. West Coast. This unprecedented threat puts American bases and cities at risk, fundamentally changing the strategic equation. China's nuclear stockpile is also growing fast, expected to surpass 1,000 warheads by 2030. Hundreds of new missile silos and hypersonic weapons add layers to China's deterrence strategy. In 2024, China launched an unarmed ICBM into the Pacific, showcasing its long-range capabilities. Hypersonic missiles, traveling at 5 times the speed of sound, challenge U.S. missile defenses. This arsenal is designed to deter U.S. intervention in a Taiwan conflict by raising the potential cost to America. The Indo-Pacific security landscape is being reshaped by these new capabilities. The arms race is accelerating, with global consequences. The next conflict won't just be fought with missiles, it's already underway in cyberspace and space. China has tripled its spy satellites since 2018, giving the PLA real-time tracking of U.S. forces across the Pacific. This kill chain links satellites to missiles, making U.S. warships and bases more vulnerable than ever. Meanwhile, Chinese state-sponsored hackers have infiltrated U.S. critical infrastructure, planting malware that could disrupt power, water, and communications in a crisis. These cyber operations are designed to paralyze the U.S. response if China moves on Taiwan. The Pentagon warns that attacks on civilian infrastructure could create chaos at home, delaying military action. By preparing the battlefield in cyberspace and space, China seeks a decisive edge before any shots are fired. The invisible front lines are now as important as the visible ones. The U.S. must adapt quickly to counter these new threats. The Pentagon's report signals a dangerous new era for global security. China's military buildup and focus on Taiwan have triggered an arms race and heightened tensions across Asia. The U.S. and its allies are ramping up defense spending and joint exercises, but the risk of miscalculation grows. Taiwan's fate is a global concern. Its semiconductor industry is vital to the world economy, and war would shatter supply chains. A direct clash between nuclear powers would be catastrophic. Diplomats are working to keep communication open, but the clock is ticking toward 2027. The choices made now will shape whether peace holds or a great power conflict erupts. For now, the world watches and hopes that deterrence and diplomacy prevail.